Hey guys, are you ready for an incredibly powerful rule-breaking resurrection and change moon fueled by a square from Mars in Virgo at 4 degrees coming up to a theater near you on August the 27th, 2022. I'm ready for it because I think it's going to actually be good for us. Even though there's a Mars square, it's going to bring positive change and developments. I want you to also think about the word rule breaking as well as resurrection. I'll explain why, where by breaking the rules, doing your own thing, finding your own passion, really going inward and figure out who you really are and what you really want, you're going to get the most from this moon. And it does run a longer course till March 7th of next year. And then in the mundane astrology, we'll be talking a little bit about the unfortunate look-like energy for the United States, getting into some conflict or warlike situation, partly as a result of this moon. Okay, so let's get started. Before I do, guess who I am? I'm Lori Lothian. I am your lunatic astrologer. Welcome to my channel if you are brand new. This is whole sign houses, Hellenistic, tropical zodiac. We are not doing sidereal or Vedic astrology, just so you know. As well, I use asteroids, stars, and I use even trans-Neptunian or Uranian planets when I just use these depictions. It's like a little bit of a mashup, as well as some tools from Babylonian astrology. So let's get started and talk about the moon. Now, before I do that, remember, if you're new here, please like and subscribe. And if you hit the notification bell, guess what? You get notified when I post. I love to lure you to my Cosmic Moonshine Forecast newsletter, because when you sign up, you get a 30% discount code, one-time use for any reading with me. You get all 2022 12 videos, 60 minutes each, every single sign forecast for 2022. We've got half a year left almost, so why not grab that for free? It's usually for sale for $47 because I'm trying to get you to come over to my weekly newscast forecast newsletter, Cosmic Moonshine, a swig of weekly astrology news. And last but not least, if you are thinking of learning astrology, my Sky Reader 8-week course starts in October. It's live. I cap the number of students who can participate. Check the link below to sign up. It used to be 6 weeks. I'm extending it to 8. And you'll see that if you get on my wait list, early bird discounts will be given to you, and you'll actually get in the class because I will cap the number of students in the class. Okay, so let's get rolling. So I'm going to start by showing you guys a picture of the sky, and then we're going to talk about what I'm seeing. If you don't like this kind of stuff, where I'm going to talk about what could happen in the world at large because of this new moon in Virgo at 4 degrees on the 27th of August, then don't stick around. You can jump ahead to the all signs. There are chapters which you can just look at the, jump ahead to your sign, or you can look at the links in the description box, or you can look at the links in the comments. I usually pin all of that to this video. But I encourage you to stick around for a little bit and learn a bit about the big picture of the sky. Some of the stuff that I cover here will help you understand your story as well. So first of all, let's talk about this picture I'm showing you now, right? This is the natal sky. This is the transit sky on the day of the moon. It is set for Washington, D.C., because I was looking a bit earlier at some U.S. stuff. But here's the deal. I'm not going to talk about this, but I want to show it to you. Venus is coming into an opposition with Saturn on the day of the moon, this new moon, new beginnings. And it is also in a square to Uranus at 18 degrees in the North Node. This Uranus 18 degrees is exactly where Uranus was on the 31st of July and the first 2 days of August, when we were having what I call the big boom, which is basically Mars, Uranus, North Node colliding together in a conjunction in Taurus. Hasn't happened since the time of Alexander the Great in 324 BC. So it was a big deal, and it's being recapitulated and reactivated not only by the full Aquarian moon that we had in the month of August, but now also coming up in late August, this is the Venus activation of the same point. So in some part of our sky around the time of this new moon, 2 or 3 days before and after, we're all feeling like things that were happening in our lives, maybe like July 20th until about the 6th of August, are being reopened up again. And in the sense that this is happening in tandem with this moon, it is important. So I would say, just as a general thought, the backdrop story is some longer story being reactivated for you, basically from the end of July, early August, in the couple of weeks that follow this moon. And I'm not going to go into a lot of detail about this now. We're going to go ahead and talk about just the moon in order to make it even simpler for you and you're not distracted by the entire sky. Let's take out that older story and stay with this one. So here's what I like to talk about. This is a very interesting moon because it is forming flowing energy and harsh energy to two planets. Mars in Gemini, where he will be, guys, check my video out for this, until March 25th next year. Got there August 20th. Very rare, very long transit of a planet that normally spends 6 weeks to 2 months in a sign. We'll be spending 7 months. Now, this is important for the world. It's important for you when you get to the all signs, I'll tell you how. But it's important for the world because this moon is happening in a place where Mars is traveling through the house of open enemies or foreign adversaries in the United States natal chart. This does suggest quite possibly the United States will be drawn into an overt conflict with a known enemy, I don't know, China, Russia, sometime in the next few months. And this moon is telling a bit of that story. Why? Well, on the day of this new moon, Mars is sitting here in the 4th degree of the sign of Gemini, where he's sitting on a star called Mirfak, which is the rescuing hero archetype. The champion has a connection to the archetype of champion, hero, and warrior. Think rescuing warrior, champion, hero energy. So he's got a Mars vibe star sitting with him, just in terms of the idea of the heroic, the champion, the hero energy. And as he is applying to this new moon at 4 degrees, and it's so precise, right? He's also applying to the, and he's also, let me just say one more thing, right up here at about, well, let me grab the US chart. Well, let me just put it this way. On September 4th, Mars will cross over the Uranus in the United States Sibley chart, which is in the 7th house of open enemies. I think the Uranus is at 9 degrees of Gemini, and that's going to activate a very sudden potential explosive event that's unexpected, out of the blue, in which the United States may feel like it is out of the blue attacked by some force of an adversary. Now, it could be a cyber attack, right? Because it's Gemini and it rules information, but it could also be something else. So I'm just going to point that out. And I do think this moon is the first indication, a slide into some overt conflict with another nation the United States will get into over the next few months with that longer Mars transit. Now, this Mars is also applying to this little trans-Neptunian kind of Uranian planet, a hypothetical called trans-Pluto. Now, I use these because I find them accurate. Cupido is also a trans-Neptunian and maybe, you know, a hypothetical planet, but it works. Cupido, passion, ardor, culture, arts, a clannish family, a bunch of meanings like that. I often find it just shows up as where we're passionate and we've got a Cupid's arrow vibe going on within our lives. Okay, we're going to get to this in a minute. Let's go back to this. Trans-Neptunian, meaning it's about beyond the orbit of Neptune, real or hypothetical. But then secondly, this is trans-Pluto. This is a planet that's hypothetically beyond the orbit of Pluto. And trans-Pluto has several meanings. And I'm going to tell you about them for your individual thing, but also it is a Plutonian energy, something to do with death and rebirth and resurrection, just like Pluto himself. But it's coming from an inside job where we are resurrecting from the inside out, where we are reinventing ourselves from the deepest authentic place within ourselves. And in fact, there's a wonderful article by Lynn Coiner that I'm going to put in the description box all about this trans-Pluto. And all of these, like trans-Pluto moves really slowly, like Pluto. So like 40 years for Pluto, and the trans-Neptunian is going to be longer. So it's not so much that trans-Pluto is on the moon, but the new moon and the sun are on trans-Pluto as trans-Pluto is transiting through the sky. But Lynn Coiner, an astrologer, has a few things to say about it in her very lengthy article. Rather than me read her lengthy article, here's one of the pieces I really liked about it. It's about doing what you want to do. I'm reading, okay? What you want to do, regardless of what anyone else says. It's a time to follow your heart and to do what is creative. It means taking a risk, the risk of criticism, but the change undertaken brings such joy that you are not burdened by what others think. It's doing what's best for the whole, for the collective. It's this, and in knowing this, what others think is not a problem for you. Now hold on to that, because you can see the echoes of the word rule breaker in what I just said. And we're going to talk about an asteroid called Ixion, a centaur that is connected to this moon. But before we get to that, let's go back to trans-Pluto. So trans-Pluto is calling us to a deep resurrection and a deep authenticity and a deep rebirth of who we are, as this trans-Pluto is sitting with this new moon. But it's also Mars squaring the moon and Mars squaring trans-Pluto. So what is Mars pushing us toward collectively? Mars is combative. It's a shove. It's a hard energy. It's a square. It's like a boxing ring. And Mars is pushing and shoving from Mercury, the sign of information, news stories, knowledge, basically understanding. So like, we're going to understand something, we're going to get to know something, but Mars is pushing us to do it, to redefine who we all are, what we really want. In the United States chart, this Virgo whole sign area is the 10th house. It's leaders, it's Joe Biden, it's like the king, the queen lives up there. It's the head of state energy. A new moon with trans-Pluto squared by Mars is not so great in terms of thinking of head of state stuff, right? In what way will there be some dramatic challenges for Joe Biden? And in the 2 weeks that follow that new moon, and I'm Canadian, guys, and I'm not American, and I'm not MAGA, so don't ever accuse me of that. I'm just on the sidelines, but I'm talking about the world, because the United States is a world power. And we know, don't forget that Venus will oppose Saturn on the day of the moon, and Venus can mean the feminine in the house of courts and justice, as Saturn are the rules. There may be a huge legislative announcement, but the 9th house, the Leo house in the US chart, is representative of the governing bodies as well, the legislatures, the place where legislation is made. What kind of big, exciting, or conflictual energies coming up through the idea of legislation or laws or Supreme Court or courts in the couple of weeks that follow the moon. And vice presidents belong to the 9th house. And so will there be an announcement by the vice president or the president regarding something to do with power? Joe's not been doing too well with his health, and he's under a lot of health challenges, Joe Biden, in his sky right now. So maybe he'll step down for a health recovery break, and pass the baton to the VP, as dramatic as it sounds. It's possible. Now, the other thing I want to point out is that we have this rule breaker energy sitting with Cupido over here, and it's the asteroid Ixion. It is breaking the rules, the rule breaker, the transgressor centaur energy. And Cupido is what we're passionate about. But more importantly, Aesclepius is there. Aesclepius is an asteroid that's representative. I can't draw it in. It's sitting with Cupido and Ixion and Aesclepius, resurrection, death and rebirth, and healing, like miracle healing and healing of physical health issues. Given that there's a Virgo new moon which rules health, I'm thinking this is pandemic news is positive. Healing from the pandemic trauma, healing from the pandemic lockdowns, healing from all of the mandates. But because you have Mars and the information thing in a square to the moon, very often this is going to look like news and information being disclosed or pushed into the public sphere that is maybe going to lead to some implications and ramifications for the pandemic measures. Hindsight is 2020, but a lot of people lost jobs. A lot of people, the economy is in the tank worldwide because of what was incredibly restrictive pandemic reactions that occurred. And there may be some pushback against that by the people, because the moon represents we the people, but also by whistleblowers and things like that. Okay, so just thinking outside the box and inside the box. Okay, the last general thing I want to say about this is this. So, every time we have a moon, we go, who's the ruler of the moon? Like, who's on first? Who's the boss? Who's got this one, right? And that's Mercury. Mercury at 1 degree of Libra. And Mercury at 1 degree of Libra is able to look over at Mars and talk to him in a very positive manner. In fact, Mercury is in a trine, which is flow, harmony, ease, luck, and goodness. So it's about news. Mars trine Mercury is positive news, or some news that's needed being dispensed into the world. Mars, however, it can be so many things. Mars is a champion hero, rescuing hero archetype with Mirfac, that star. So there could be some pretty interesting news coming up in a couple of weeks after this particular new moon. Mercury in Libra, maybe about the Supreme Court, about laws, about a new legislation being passed in the United States or anywhere in the world. Because Mercury is really working with this Mars, right, and really holding Mars to account for how he deals with this new moon. He is square it, but Mercury is the lord of the moon, and Mercury is kind of like, hey, Mars over there, we got to talk. You can't just pummel this new moon to death. We got to like work it out. This is not a death match, like this is not that kind of thing. We've got to do something good with Mars and Mercury. Communication, news, breaking news, information being released in a positive way, things like that. All right. Lastly, this Cupido energy is literally what you're passionate about, what anybody's passionate about. Where is that Cupid's arrow striking you? I think there's a resurrection of and a healing around what our true passions are. And with trans Pluto there, we're really looking at going within to see how we're going to resurrect ourselves, define ourselves anew from our inward structures in a way that serves the collective or the whole, as I sort of coined those words from Lynn Coiner, who wrote that article. And also some other things she said about trans Pluto. And now it's the first time I've used one of these types of trans-Neptunian hypotheticals to this degree in a reading, but I felt important to include it. It works, Pluto works to bring you to the point where you will address the needs of your inner self rather than your outer self. Okay. And it is a process of wholeness and integration that it represents. And because it's Virgo, which is already about healing and magic, we're all looking at how this moon brings new healing, new magic, new wholeness, new integration in our lives as we also heal Aesclepius and become more passionate about things as we Ixion break the rules. Now, that's all I'm going to say about that, guys. We're going to move on and we're going to talk about all signs. So if you stuck with me this long, thank you. Again, just a gentle reminder, if you like and subscribe, it really helps my channel grow. A lot of you guys who are astrology learners will want me to keep with this, showing you the picture as I go. And so that's what I will do because you asked for it. So just before I do that, I need to cue this so that I have the day set up. Oh, by the way, there could be some good financial news coming for the US in the 2 weeks that follow this moon, just because of a sextile from Venus in the 8th house of Jupiter, Venus in the 8th house of the United States, which represents stock markets. And the new moon sextiling that. It could be a good news in the stock markets or the economy that may be unexpected. It may cause the stock market to rise abruptly in the first 2 weeks of September. However, I don't trust that longer arc of what looks like more difficulty in the markets in October. So it's good for trading. I'm not sure it's good for long-term investment strategies. All right. I think we still have maybe a recession ahead in most places in the world. Okay, so I'm going to move this and I'm going to cue it for us to start with Aries, which we typically do. So what the hell, let's keep going with it. It seems to be that when we start with Aries, everybody's able to figure out where I am in the order of events, going through the story of the sky. All right, Aries, that's me. So I'm Aries, sun and moon. If you have a rising sign, first of all, rising sign is always most accurate. And then sun and moon can add spice and extra information, especially if you're born at night. Look to your moon sign. If you're born in the day, you might resonate more with the sun sign. But for all of you, do cast your chart in whole sign houses. Check my video description box below for free. You can access that video to teach you how to do this online so you can discover your rising sign. So to begin, Aries, sun, moon, and rising people, you are experiencing this event of a new moon, which will culminate in a full moon in March, right? So it's got a long arc story in the house of your work and health routines and protocols, the house of your workaday routines, the way you do your work, how you do it, like where you sit. I mean, is this an ergonomic chair? No, I should get one. And it's also how you care for your health in order to avoid sickness. Technically, in ancient tradition, it's a house of sickness. So a new moon is a new beginning, a fresh start in the sign of Virgo, a fresh start around health routines, a fresh start around work protocols and routines for you, and engaging with a new passion, a new healing, a new resurrection, and breaking some rules in your workplace, right? That's that Cupido, Ixion, I can't draw them in, and Aesclepius asteroids up there, saying there's a kind of a generating of a new enthusiasm and passion for your career, for your work, through those new beginnings in that sixth house of the way you do your work. Now, if you're employed, if you're in a place of employment because you're employed, The new moon is giving you a new beginning there. Now, trans Pluto says, where is this regenerative interior rebirth of yourself based on your deepest self, alignment with yourself? And that's happening in your house, guys, of your job and your work. So there's a bit of a Plutonian change vibe down there from a deep introspective place. And I do feel that you might break some rules in your workplace with that transgressor Ixion trining that new moon, but the rule breaking serves you, busting outside the box and doing it differently, and maybe even just outright going, no, I don't want to do it that way. So you're going to break a rule, but the rule breaking is positive for you. And I meant to take Saturn out of the sky. So let's do that. We don't need him in here. Poor Saturn lingering by himself. Okay, and the next thing is there's tension from your third house, or there's Mars, pressuring third house to sixth house things for you in the 2 weeks that follow the moon, but also culminating some kind of longer story that comes to fullness on March the 7th, or around that time. The last March 7th had 2 weeks on the full moon in Virgo. This can be about travel. I mean, when Mars is in the third house, it's trips, planes, and trains, and let's get going. He loves to travel. He's got one of the travel gods, and he's in a house of trips and travel, even commuting. Now, squaring your sixth house, you might find you're not liking the back and forth, the too much travel. It may not feel easy. In the first 2 weeks of September, you make some healing changes around how much commuting or traveling you might be doing in your life, and try to make decisions that change that. But also, this is the house of siblings, and you could be having arguments in the first 2 weeks of September with a sibling or aunt, uncle, cousin, niece, nephew, extended family, or difficult conversations, right? Because Mercury is conversations and speaking. I mean, Mercury, Gemini. And there's all of that. With this also, you may be very motivated and ambitious around taking a new course of study and learning, but experience some temporary frustration about getting new beginnings in your learning, professional learning, in your case, getting it off the ground. Your local neighborhood and your online platforms is the third house. Again, a lot of action there, but maybe a little bit of a feeling of frustration until we get this Mars moving forward a bit more. And, technically I'm thinking, it could just be about a real grinding energy to get shit done. Excuse my language, because, if you're like me, an online entrepreneur, Mars going through a third house is a lot of work, but you're really driven. And maybe you have to balance your health routines and your work routines with your passionate drive to get involved in a lot of work for your career. Lastly, with Mercury in the 7th house, well, this is communications with others by email, text, and phone call that are supportive of your third house activities, trips, and travels. So in the 2 weeks after, you may plan a trip with somebody, phone calls, emails, going back and forth to get that off the ground. And you may also be talking to a beloved, a lover, or business partner quite a lot in the 2 weeks that follow this new moon. Again, involving the possibility of a journey or a trip that you're planning to take together, or something you wish to do together in the online world or in the local neighborhoods as well. Okay. So the long story of this is you're regenerating new health protocols. And by the time you get to next March, you're going to feel like you've got a handle on how to take care of your physical health. And by balancing work and drive ambition, also balance your health. Okay. Mars is your ruler, so he's got a real strong say there, Aries, right? And he's going to get you to balance out that stuff. All right, moving on. Taurus, sun, moon, and rising sign. Am I recording? You ever have that moment when you don't know? Sorry, guys. Let me double check. Am I recording? I am recording. See, when I'm sharing the screen, I can't tell that I am recording. All right. So here we have the story for Taurus, sun, moon, and rising. Remembering rising is always most accurate. Hey, Taurus, if you want to sign up for my Sky Reader course, Be Your Own Astrologer, Time Your Best Life, I'm going to let you know that I have a cap on students, and the early bird waitlist link is in the description box. So check it out. You'll get discounts, early bird discounts, but also get in the course, because it will likely fill on the waitlist alone, which is about 27 people in it right now. And I only take about 40 so people in this course usually. All right, check it out. Be Your Own Astrologer, Time Your Best Life. Let's move forward. So Taurus, sun, moon, and rising. Again, this is a new moon in your 5th house. Okay, be careful for pregnancy, you or your partner, if being pregnant isn't a thing for you, because this very much looks like it could be that too. All right, but also It's your passion, your enthusiasm, your excitement for life, your inspiration, your creativity, your independent business enterprise, your romance, and your sexuality are having a regeneration, rebeginning, and rebirth. This is a money luck house, and it's money through gaming, investments, and speculative and risky things, including stock market, but also, you know, playing a lottery ticket. And because you have trans Pluto down here, which is saying how to reinvent and redefine yourself from the inside out, like a snake that sheds the skin full on, but from your inner values. And this is a very important moon for you. In the Vedic astrology tradition, your manifestation house is the 5th house. So where are you going to get inspired to manifest some kind of complete regeneration of self, because it trines your 1st house, through finding your play, your joy, your fun, your pleasure, your inspiration in life, your joie de vivre, your joy of life. And you may have been struggling with that lately, because your joy of life, Taurus, heals you, right? Virgo is a sign of healing and magic. And when you're engaged in your muse-inspired, God-given right to the pursuit of happiness, then you are going to find you are physically well as well, okay? Mars is in the 2nd house of earnings, and he's squaring the moon. Your drive to earn money, or your desire to sell possessions to make money, or the amount of spending you're doing for some reason in the 2 weeks that follow this moon may be rattling you energetically and bringing you a sense of concern and unease around your fun, play, joy, pleasure, or independent business enterprise. You may even have a conflict with a lover or romantic partner about spending money or earnings issues in the first 2 weeks after this moon. But longer archetypal storyline is March 7th next year, when the full moon reveals to you what you planted as seeds now in that natal 5th house are going to be growing into something quite full. So, I mean, literally, you can plant a baby seed by getting pregnant or your partner pregnant, or you could plant a project seed or a new business seed, okay? The Cupido, passion, drive, ambition, culture, and arts, sitting with Ixion, the rule breaker, up here in your 9th house. And I can't draw the Ixion in, sitting with Aesclepius, the great healer, for almost like a death and resurrection type of healing in the 9th house. Is about legal matters for some Tauruses, about university education and higher learning for others, about spiritual faith and belief for others, and maybe even about international travel or foreign travel to another country. Those themes are very much where this moon is applying flow. So if you have unresolved financial matters, financial and legal matters for some Tauruses, this is going to be trying to resolve itself in the 2 weeks that follow the moon, because of the trine from Cupido, Ixion, and Aesclepius, the great healer. You may also plan a trip to a foreign land in the first 2 weeks of September. That could be very, very healing for you and bring you more joy, play, sexuality, and pleasure in your life, Taurus. Also, you've got Mercury, who is the lord of this moon, in your 6th house of work routines and health routines. And for a lot of you Taurus people, with this Mercury talking to Mars, there is a desire for the lord of the lunation to collaborate with Mars, the god of action and choices, in the house of food and things you ingest: cigarettes, alcohol, vapes, ice cream, gluten, to change your diet. In fact, a lot of you Taurus risings, especially, but sun and moon as well, over the next 7 months will be changing your food style to healthier eating. And Mercury is giving you information, news, ideas, in order to establish that in the first 2 weeks after this very healing new moon. I hope that makes sense, and I hope that you have an amazing 2 weeks after this new moon. Gemini, sun, moon, and rising sign. Well, first of all, Geminis, before I tell you all about this, if you want to be your own astrologer and time your best life, I'm pitching my Sky Reader early bird sign up list. Course starts in October, runs for 8 weeks. If you really want to learn astrology with a lot of hand holding and an intimate group of students, it's a lot of fun. Taught it once, redoing it again. Come join Sky Reader and check the description box to at least get on my early bird notice wait list. Alrighty. All right, let's get onwards. So what I want to say about this is it's very fundamentally giving you a new beginning, Gemini rising, sun and moon, regarding the themes of private life, home life, your apartment, your house, your really homeland, by where you spend your time, right? And new moons and new beginnings for you, Gemini rising, especially sun and moon secondarily, are establishing also a new beginning in your health routines regarding where you live, your magical practices, Virgo, and also a deep, deep investigation of the house of your ancestors, the fourth house, in order to come from a different place within you, trans-Neptunian, trans-Pluto there, because it's about how you reinvent and regenerate and rebirth yourself from your deepest insights into what? In this case, your family of origin patterns and beliefs, and your ancestral line family of origin patterns and beliefs. So a lot of you Geminis are really beginning to realize that some of how you've operated has been on rote, and you've been kind of adopting mantras from your family. You know, families tell us a lot. They say things like money never goes on trees, or you know, nobody gets rich in this family, or we've always been poor and we'll always be poor, whatever, making stuff up, you know. And you don't even know that you believe that, because you just osmosised it as a child. And so you're busting away and breaking out and loosening up the grip of those family of origin stories and the way you were raised and things that came from your childhood. And in this regard, Mars in your first house is pressing, shoving, and conflictually bolting energies at this new beginning. It's you. Okay, you are carrying the Mars energy until next March. You're decisive, you're passionate, you're ambitious, you're driven, you're taking strong action, you're making bold choices. That's what happens when Mars goes through your first house for 6 weeks, well, let alone 7 months. But there's a way you're acting. It could be verbally aggressive or just challenging. And you may be challenging your mom or your dad or a family member from your family system as you go through this first 2 weeks after the moon. You may be taking somebody to task regarding that family, or somebody in your home. Say you live in a home with several people, right? Family lives with you. You may be pushing against them, arguing with them, being aggressive toward them in the 2 weeks after the moon. Now it's all about you. You're doing that. Mars is in the house of you. If you need surgery, by the way, in the next 7 months, Mars will bring you the ideal surgeon in the best possible time. Just keep that in mind. Now, Cupido, passion, Ixion, rule breaker, and Aesclepius, great resurrection like healing in your 8th house of finances. If you are experiencing financial distress or have been, or you're worried about your savings and your 401k, or your your money from your inheritance or something, this is a healing vibe that's happening with this Cupido and with this energy of the rule breaker and Aesclepius. Now the rule breaker Ixion is interesting here. How might you break some rules regarding money stuff? By breaking away from family of origin narratives, because that's what Cupido's doing. Cupido and the other two are trining the family of origin gunk, ancestral line gunk. Now, this would be the best time ever to do a family constellation work, to do ancestral healing stuff, that kind of stuff. Okay, there's just no way, 2 ways about it. By the way, I don't even think I have this on the big size for you guys. Sorry about that. And you can really find that by doing that work of healing your family shit, excuse my language, your money stuff will improve dramatically. Secrets from the family of origin can be revealed that are also very healing in the 2 weeks after this new moon. 8th house is secrets, things you don't know about. Cupido is passion. 8th house is secret relationships, often affairs. Not that I'm suggesting you do that, but I'm just going to tell you, secret affairs conducted at home could be quite healing for you in the 2 weeks following this moon. And always remember that it's the full moon on March next year, March 7th, that gives you the full fruit of the tree from the planting you're doing now. With Mercury as, okay, and by the way, new moon in the 4th house can be a new home, right? Obviously, but it may take until next March for that new home to emerge. Okay. Mercury, the Lord of the lunation in the 5th house of romance, children, play, fun, pleasure, sexuality. He's saying to Mars, which is in the house of you, hey, as you really push against the family of origin stuff for the Gemini person, don't forget to send sweet letters to the one you love. Don't forget to talk sweetly to your children. Don't forget to take bold action with your lover. Don't forget to take bold action with your children. Don't forget to take bold action with your independent business enterprise, like your entrepreneurial business, okay? Don't forget to take some bold action in marketing, merchandising, and selling things in your entrepreneurial business. Those are ways to code that. So you have this other side story going on the side that looks quite financially positive for you, with Mercury in the 5th house of money luck as well. Yeah, could get some money luck out of this as well. Okay, let's keep going and find the next story. Cancer, sun, moon, rising sign. All right, so Cancer, this is a lunation, a new beginning in the 3rd house of your neighborhood, your siblings, aunts, uncles, cousins, trips and travel, and skills-based learning. So for a lot of you, it could be like you're going to start a new course, or you're going to, change your neighborhood, or you're going to get some action going with a sibling. But it's more than that. Trans Pluto is here. How are your sibling relationships, Cancer risings, or how are your relationships to learning, like studying something new, new moon, new beginning in your studies, especially skills-based learning, right? Not higher ed. You're going to find this can really open up, or a particular trip you may plan, this can really open up for you a huge energy of regeneration of an authentic self from the inside out, where you are aligning with your truest self and you're bringing goodness to the world and to the collective through that. And the 3rd house is your online stuff as well. For some Cancer rising, this is new beginning in the online world, starting a new social media channel, for example, or building your new website. And you've got some kind of Mars pressure coming from the 12th house. Now that's your own self-undoing. This is where you go, I'm not good enough, or, your addictions or your own self-sabotaging strategies. It is the house of hospitals, and maybe somebody in a hospital is grabbing all of your attention, particularly a male, and that's taking you away from your new beginnings in the 3rd house. And you even may have a secret enemy who's a masculine, who's undermining you, masculine force, in your endeavors to get that 3rd house new beginning happening. That 3rd house new beginning, right? All the things I said, learning, neighborhood, online world, you're going to have a full moon there in March next year. And that's where you're going to see the full fruiting of what's beginning now. And watch for those first 2 weeks after August 27th to get the clues of what the big fullness is next March. So I'd say to you, Mars is going to spend 7 months, Cancers, in your 12th house. Other than foreign lands travel, which this can indicate for some of that time, especially going back to a place you've been before, October 30th to December 20th, it's about eliminating, ending, cutting away, severing your self-sabotaging karmic junk in your closet. Really good time to do past life regressions over these next few months, or to investigate deep psychology and understand yourself better. This lunation is being ruled by Mercury, and Mercury is loving up Mars and saying, if you're going to really give, my Cancers a hard time as you pummel the 3rd house, can you just please make sure that you give them some sweetness from the 4th? Now, the 4th house is your home life, your private life, your nest, your sanctuary. And 412 is 2 moksha houses for enlightenment. So this could be getting your spiritual act together, your ceremony, your private space, your meditation corner, your ritual space, right? Because Virgo rules ritual magic, and really applying yourself a lot more to that part of your soul in getting your inner center, Cancers, through that deeper soul work. Mercury in the 4th could be selling a home, buying a home, getting a new lease, and it could be coming into action over the 2 weeks in September or by March the 4th, because this lunation is ruled by that Mercury. Some of you may be doing that, or selling things through the home using PayPal, Stripe, and payment processors, because the 12th house are those payment processors. What processors? Why? It's 3rd from the 10th, represents barter and trade by travel. In the ancient world, the 3rd is like the traveling salesman. Okay. Well, you know what I mean, like the caravans of spice traders and stuff. Okay, we're going to move on, and I hope that's used. Oh, no, I forgot something for you. I apologize. Cupido, breaking the rules, resurrection and healing, Aesclepius, passion in your marriage house and your business partner house. But if you've been in a marriage for a long time and you know how the passion wanes, Cupido is trying to activate it through maybe taking a trip with your partner, or studying a course together with your partner, or engaging some kind of online business with your partner, but something about re-engaging that. And now you could also be passionate and breaking some rules about how you approach clients and marketplace and audience, all right, which is a 7th house as well. Okay, so keep that in mind. Like, oh, they say you have to do it this way on TikTok, but I'm doing it this way, something like that. It's really noisy outside my house. Can you guys hear that? Like garbage trucks and like everything out there. So if you hear a bunch of noise, I apologize. Leo, sun, moon, and rising. So Leo people, if you want to ever learn astrology, pitch, Sky Reader is my class for beginning astrology. It's 8 weeks long this time, starts in October. And it's like kind of be your own astrologer, time your best life. I will give you enough tools to make some timing decisions in your life and learn the basics of astrology so you can do it yourself. So check it out. Wait list is below. It starts in October. If you get on the wait list, then you're going to get not only early bird discount notice that no one else gets, but you're also going to get in the class because I will cap the number of students. And there are about 25 or 6 people on the wait list already. Okay, moving on. So Leos, this is really about a money story. And if you've been, so first of all, it's a new beginning, a fresh start in your fiscal hygiene with regards to your wages and earnings and how you make money. And so, yes, you get a new moon in this house every year. So that's not a new theme for you, but now you've got trans Pluto. And so what kind of deep inward realignment is occurring for you, Leos, where you're aligning the inner and the outer regarding how you have voice, vocation, calling, and earning so that it's not only aligned with who you really are, but it also serves the collective and the whole. And this new moon is planting those seeds in the first 2 weeks of September, basically, right? August 27th at 2 weeks. And it's also going to be fruiting as a fullness next March. So you're going to see how those financial seeds planted now will fruit into a full tree of financial goodness next March. So be patient, of course. And you've got some pressure from Mars up at the top of the sky there. Now he is sitting with Mirfac, the rescuing hero. And this is a house of friends and allies who support you in some way, but it's a pushy, shovey energy. So what kind of, and it's a house of the eldest sibling, FYI. So if you have an eldest sibling, it could be very shovey, pushy, but trying to help you financially. Or a friend could also offer you some kind of advice or guidance that you find is verbally combative, but they're just trying to help you. The other thing I'd say about it is that Mars up here is decisions and actions that you're taking about how you wish to form longer goals and dreams for your life. And basically, long-term plans and goals for your life, Mars up here in that part of the sky, it's going to be there till next March. And he'll cut away, snipping dead wood off your long vision of your life. But you always thought you wanted, I want a white picket fence and 2 children. I want 10 dogs and 100 cats, or I don't know, whatever you thought you wanted in your life. Mars is like got pruning shears and he's going through your 11th house. Well, and he's snipping of the dead wood. So you're going to finish this by March with a very streamlined and precise sense of destiny and what you want to achieve in life. So there's that. And this moon is giving you a taste of that, right? Because what do you want to achieve regarding your earnings that is going to be more true for you to bring your greater career gains in this lifetime? Cupido, passion, ardor, culture, and arts. Ixion, rule breaking, transgressing the rules, doing it your own way. I did it my way. And Aesclepius, regenerative resurrection style healing in your health house and in your work routines house and in your coworker house and your daily habits around those things. And that's flowing towards this new moon. So somehow by getting your health act together in your daily routines and your work routines and, stabilizing that with breaking some rules if you need to. This can also be how you break rules with coworkers in the collegiate space, how you are healing something there as well. And you're going to find by doing all of that, something in those 2 weeks after this new moon shows you how you will see greater flow around earnings and attaching a passion to how that money flows to you as well. And so, yeah, I think some of you Leos are going to learn something new, maybe take some online courses or study with Mercury in your 3rd house. And it's going to help balance out your earnings and work story in some way. And with Mercury as the lunation lord, loving up this Mars in your 11th, Mercury says news from older sibling, news from friends who are big allies and supporters of you, is trying to benefit how this new beginning in earnings is taking place. So look for emails or phone calls or text messages from friends, allies, or elder sibling in the 2 weeks that follow this September lunation. They give you a boost around your earnings and your passion and your health. Okay. Virgo, sun, moon, rising sign. So before we tell you all about this juicy lunation, just a quick sales pitch. If you always wanted to be your own astrologer and time your best life, if you do take my Sky Reader course already, you can sign up for the wait list. It starts in October. There's a limit on the number of students. And by being on my wait list, it's in the description box, FYI, then you are going to get early bird pricing and you're going to be able to get in because it will fill up before I ever get it to the public. I probably won't even promote this outside of letting you guys know here and letting my mailing list of 3,000 people know about it privately. All right, moving on. Hey, so Virgos, this is your sign. So you get once a year a new moon in the house of you. If your Virgo rising sun and moon is between, I say like the first 10 degrees of Virgo, right? It really hits you the strongest, okay? It really is your regenerative new beginning. And you're going to find sun and moon and Virgos in the first 10 degrees of Virgo, that this is a powerful, deep rediving, dive into you and restoration. Trans Pluto is like Pluto on steroids, but you're regenerating not because of outer dynamics hitting you, but because you are going to form a deeper connection to your authentic self that allows you to become the butterfly you're meant to be. You know, it's almost like you're not the ugly duckling in the swan story, right? You know, you don't really know what you are yet. And this is a moon in the 2 weeks that follow. A lot of Virgos rising especially are going to discover a more authentic version of themselves, uncover, discover, reveal, that is in alignment with the greater collective and goodness for the whole of the world. Pretty intense, eh? Yeah, you're getting square energy from Mars, and that's not so easy in the house of your work. Now, this could be the boss, it could be a colleague, this could be a male in your workplace, and there's pressure, colleague who's a male toward you and your identity, and it's gnarly. It's not easy. Mars is pressuring here. And, you know, Mars will be going through your 10th house until next March, very rare transit, check my video. And this is helping you streamline, pare away, cut away all kinds of stuff that are not authentic for your career path, right? And your reputation as well. Just be careful because Mars here could be an aggressive, verbally aggressive comments from a coworker, colleague, or male boss that don't serve you and make you really wonder about who you are, making you go deep into a deep dive into yourself. So, you know, that pressure forms a diamond, but it's not always easy, right? This crucible energy with the workspace is intense. But you do have passion, ardor, enthusiasm, and you do have, and creativity, and you do have breaking some rules, rule breaker Ixion, and you also do have great healing in your 5th house of romance and sexuality, joy, play, and pleasure, and inspiration and creativity. So this, for a lot of Virgos, is like some kind of romantic resurrection, and there may be a restoration of what was a lukewarm love life, or some kind of thing to do with your romantic life that was not so great. And now there's a rebirth, a regeneration here. You may, if you're single, and you may meet someone who helps you deeply dive into who you really are as you regenerate yourself through sacred sexuality, massively connected fun and joy with somebody in a romance department. All right. You may become deeply inspired by a creative project, and you might break the rules. Who says you can't have a Western movie that you're writing as a script filled with aliens, right? So you can break rules because the 5th house is the muse, and rule breaker, Ixion, passionate, Cupido, literature and arts are a part of his wheelhouse, and Aesclepius, something to do with great regenerative, resurrective healing. If your muse has been like dead in the water and you feel so uninspired with creativity. My daughter's a Virgo rising. We had dinner last night and we were talking about maybe she would do a new YouTube video, and her channel is called Loser. She hasn't done something for 10 years, and her one video is a dissection of the Twilight Zone movie and Kristen Stewart's bad acting, and she's got like 160,000 views on that. So maybe she'll get down and she'll do some more creativity with regards to her YouTube channel, which is dormant. But, you know, things like finding your creativity again and sourcing the enjoyment of play and creativity, big deals for most Virgos here, big deals. And if you have your own business, you're getting your inspiration back for it, and you really want to get down and make it happen. With Mercury, the lunation lord, in the 2nd house, the longer arc is making more money and bringing more resources to your body, your mind, more ability to buy and sell possessions. But Mercury here can help you buy it or sell a possession that you really need or want, and you'll do it in a balanced manner. So here we have this Mercury kind of baked in as the lunation lord in a trine to Mars. It's kind of wherever that gnarly tension is in the workplace, the conflictual energies, Mercury is trying to work it out from the earnings and voice house. Now, this is a house of speech, your second house. So some of you may have to speak truth to power, so to speak. I hate that expression, but that could be it. Or speak very honestly in a peaceful, harmonious, nonviolent way, Mercury and Libra, regarding to somebody, a boss, a colleague, a coworker, maybe male in your office space, in order to kind of resolve something there. But it certainly does say that there's something about this lunation that by next March, you may see, March when the full moon happens, that not only have you reinvented yourself and found more joy, fun, play, and pleasure, and maybe cut away from a job or a career path, but you're also making more money. So it's a lovely, lovely thing for you, Virgo, sun, moon, and especially rising sign. All right, Libra, sun, moon, and rising. We're halfway through. Hey, Libra. Yeah, you ever want to be your own astrologer and time your best life? Well, let me pitch you very quickly before we talk about you, about my Sky Reader course. It starts in October. It's going to be a small group. If you want to get in on it, it's 8 weeks of learning astrology and learning how to time some stuff in your own sky. And you can check the description box for the early bird notice and get on to the wait list, because you get a discount for being on the wait list, early bird discounts, and you get into the course because it will fill before I ever promote it publicly. And so if you want in and you want to learn astrology with a group of people and a lot of hand-holding from me and a lot of hand-holding, then please check it out. Moving on, Libra, sun, moon, and rising people. Now, funny, I did a video for you guys, right? It was Libra August. It was called Power Up Wealth or something. And like 5,000 views on that month of August video. You Libras really went to town. It was crazy. It's funny because Aries are always the ones that have the least views. It's just the truth. All astrologers know it. They never want anyone to tell them what to do, so they don't watch these videos. And you Libras are always looking for the advice of others. It makes me laugh. So Libra, in the context of the bigger picture, remember that you're having something so spectacular, Libra, so amazing in October. I can't wait to tell you about it with a Venus star point. I just love what's happening for you guys. But before we get to all of that down the line, the new moon is happening in your 12th house, and it's hot as hell here. And the 12th house is your inner life, dreams at night, self-undoing, karmic stuff, the closet. It's the trapdoor under the sofa. It's honestly not easy to see under the carpet. So you don't have a good bead on this, right? You don't really see this part of your sky. Nobody does see their 12th house very well. It's hidden, it's in peripheral visions, and you got blinders there. However, we can dive deep here. It is our deep psychology, our collective unconscious, and you're going to have a new beginning here. So some of you are going to get rid of your addiction, self-undoing, self-sabotage, gunk, and karmatic muck with a deep regeneration with trans Pluto, that all this is realigning you with your deepest self. And you're going to be in alignment for whatever is cleaned up here to serve the collective. That said, you'll get the fullness of that next March, right? You'll see the fullness. Now, sometimes the 12th house is foreign shores, and a new beginning could be a new beginning because of a relationship to foreign lands, like moving to a foreign land or having something big happen to you from a foreign land. Keep that in mind. Cupido, oh no, let's go to Mars. Mars is giving you gnarly stink eye energy from the 9th house of legal affairs, visas, courts, higher education, book publishing, faith, belief, churches, and religions. So you could be having a falling out with your pastor. You could be having a gnarly visa problem. You might have travel problems resulting from all of this, legal issues that are like really feeling difficult for you, and you can barely cope, right, vibrationally, because of it's hitting you in a deep unconscious karmic place. However, this is just a temporary thing. Mars is aligned with Mirfact, the rescuing hero. This could be your super powered lawyer working on your behalf to resolve your legal visa stuff. This could be a male agent pushing your book into the world and fighting for you as a heroic rescuing energy, because ultimately the lunation lord in your house of you is trining the 9th house. So there is resolution here, but you must take action. So if you were thinking, I want to email this agent, or I want to phone this person, or I want to text this person, I need to take communications actions around 9th house themes. I need to call the consulate about the visa. Whatever this is in the 2 weeks that follow, it's got a longer story, of course, that fulfills the next March, but it's your ability to communicate peacefully, effectively, non-violently, calmly, in a peacekeeping manner with gnarly 9th house people, like that professor who hates you, that judge is, gnarly, whatever, that is going to support goodness here. Cupido Passion, Ixion, rule breaker, Aesclepius, great healing and resurrection in your fourth house of home suggests that something is being healed regarding your home. And of course, Mercury isn't a square to this Cupido. So again, you have to take a verbal or legal or contractual actions in order to create some regeneration, healing, restoration around your home, and maybe break a few rules, Libra. Like, oh yeah, you're supposed to have that permit before you install that skylight, but you're going to not do that because you need it anyway yesterday, and break a rule anyway, and you're going to be okay about it. You're trying to find more passion, more excitement, more enthusiasm and creativity in and from your home. And if you like to write, Mercury in Libra, library, Libra, and Cupido in the fourth house, Mars in the ninth, a Libra who wants to write something significant, a book, a long article, in the 2 weeks that follow this September moon, yes, get on it, maybe do an outline, but more importantly, this is about reaching a fullness around a writing project next March. Okay. Yeah. Especially because your house of writing, your third, is being supported by Jupiter moving through your seventh, meaning things you write will find an audience, agent, or someone to take it over for you. So all of you Libras who love to write, especially published books, Mars is in the book publishing house till next March. This is your time. All right. Don't waste it. Don't let it go by the wayside. All right. All right, Scorpio, sun, moon, and rising sign. Before I tell you about this luscious new moon in your 11th house of fairy godmothers and great pennies from heaven windfalls, if that's not a teaser. Did you ever want to learn to do astrology yourself? A lot of Scorpios love this stuff, magic, miracles, and mysteries. So think about taking my Sky Reader course. It's kind of like Time Your Best Life, Be Your Own Astrologer. It starts in October. It runs 8 weeks, small group. I have a wait list to get on, early bird discount notices. If you really want to get in, please get on the wait list, or at least to be notified of when it starts exactly. Well, I know, but get on the wait list, link in my description box below. All right, so Scorpio, I feel like this is one of the best moons for you that you're going to have in a long, long time. Yeah, you get one every year, but this is a really profoundly positive development because it's very much about a deep realization you may have a new beginning in terms of the friends that you hold and desire to have in your life. It's like your friendship circles, your groups of belonging are having a new beginning. And because there's trans Pluto here, you're really going deep in terms of the quality of the friends you wish to have so that they're in a deeper alignment with your authentic self. And by next March, Scorpios, you're really going to know a lot more about what I mean. It's also a new beginning in the area of great gains and from your career, including awards, reputation gains, money gains from your career path. And by next March, you'll see the fruits of that new beginning. In the short term, Mars squaring this new moon in your 8th house is about money. Now, Mars here is in a legacy wealth house, connected to inheritances, and he can be battling it out or duking it out to get your share of an inheritance, and he'll be there till next March. But also, he could just indicate that inheritance could be coming your way, action and directionality regarding inheritance monies from some Scorpio risings, especially Sun and Moon secondarily. But if you're Scorpio rising in the first 10 degrees of Scorpio, or your Sun and Moon, this is more likely true about the inheritance stuff than not. If you have to make big changes to your investment portfolios and your shared resources with your spouse, you'll be doing that in the next 7 months. And this moon will give you clues about that. Sometimes Mars in the 8th is separating your assets with your spouse. It's the alimony palimony transit. And so some of you Scorpios may be going through that journey. And the first signs of that are starting to show up in September, like August 27th, to add 2 weeks, right? So you'll be aware of these directions that could be occurring. So yeah, it's not the best news for some Scorpios. I'm not going to lie, but you've been having the North Node through your marriage house, trying to expand your relationship to your significant other and grow it larger and make a bigger pot for the plant to grow in. But some people can't do that, and it causes the relationships to end. You have that pressure to expand the relationship all the way till next July. Now, I think with Cupido, passion, Ixion, rule breaking, at Aesclepius healing, all bundled up in your 3rd house of trips and travel and skills-based learning and siblings and stuff like that, you could be having some healing, rule-breaking events regarding siblings and aunts, uncles, and cousins, trips and travel, and learning things. But there's passion here, right? Cupido is here, and there is a trine to the new moon, a flowing energy from the third house. Siblings can be great allies for you right now. You may find that a trip or a journey somewhere to learn something or just for fun, enjoyment, it can be very healing in a couple of weeks after this new moon, for sure. If you want to learn something, you'll be very passionate about what you're learning, and it's a good time to take the course or get registered for it. I would say that you have this, Mercury lunation Lord, working behind the scenes in the, deeper mystery regions of reality in your 12th house. So dreams at night, because he's the dream messenger god in the house of dreams, one of the house of dreams, could mean pay attention to your meditations, your guided meditations, your reveries, your insights when you're blow drying your hair or in the shower, the aha moments, but also pay attention to your dreams, because Mercury's trying to give you messages that support your finances, because he is trining Mars in the house of your shared resources, business partner monies, investment monies, inheritance monies, tax rebates, tax monies, taxes, credit card debt, bank loans, and mortgages. You could get some deep insight from Mercury in the 12th. Mercury could also be about something from news or information from a foreign land that benefits you financially in the 2 weeks that follow this new moon. Longer arc is going to be something to do with a greater gain from your career and more success in your career and more powerful energies coming out of your career, honestly, because the great gains house, the 11th, feeds the 10th by the time you get to next March. Alrighty. All right, that's great. That's enough for you, Scorpios. Let's move on. Sagittarius, sun, moon, rising sign people. When you guys are having a new moon in your 10th house, it's a big deal. Angular, new beginnings in your career, new beginnings in your work, reputation, purpose, passion, ambition, and success directions. Your visible part of your sky. And if you're a Sag rising and you say you're in the first 10 degrees, or your Sag sun and moon are in the first 10 degrees of Sagittarius, it's more important for you than other Sages, but all Sages get the juice of this. You're trying to start something fresh and new, Sages, regarding work and career. And you got trans-Neptunian, trans-Pluto dude up there going, make it true, make it real, make it like authentic, regenerate your career from the deepest part of you and in a way that serves the whole and the collective. Go inward here, or, do that regeneration from a deeper place. Oh my God, can you guys hear the noise out here? What is with my neighborhood? How many freaking trucks can be beeping out there? And this regeneration is getting a lot of support from Cupido in your earnings house. Break the rules, Ixion, passion and ardor, Cupido, and healing, Aesclepius, regeneration, resurrection around your finances, Sagittarius, regarding how the career and the money stories intersect each other. The earning stories intersect each other. And that's what this new moon is trying to bring you, some regeneration around your earnings and your career path in a deeply authentic way. And you'll see the full fruit of that next March. However, in the short term, especially in the 2 weeks that follow, you've got a lot of spousal or business partner angst, right? Some other person, an early client, a business partner, or a love partner, like a marriage or significant other, is really gnarly and combative verbally and sending you darts of verbal aggression regarding choices you're making in your reputation and career path, right? And that's nothing I can say, but that doesn't feel good, right? When you've got conflictual energies with someone close to you. This is unfortunately going to be true until next March, where you're going to have to deal it up. Mars can cut and sever that business relationship or marriage relationship with his big scissors as he goes through this part of your sky over the next 7 months. So I tell no lies. That's part of what happens when that Mars transit occurs. You may choose it, but often it's your partner when Mars is the one in the 7th house, causing the problems, but also making sometimes the decision to leave. Can you fix it? Of course, anything can be fixed. Come to me for a reading. We'll talk about it. You do have support. Okay, well, you do have support from Mercury, right? The lunation Lord in the 11th house, trining your 7th. Now, this can be advice from friends you trust and love. This can be guidance from somebody, or a good email, phone call, or conversation with someone in your friendship circles that just trying to help soothe the condition of the gnarly spouse, or help you with decisions regarding the way you're spending your money or the way your money is coming in through your earnings. So you're getting some kind of good information or news from the 11th. Now, pennies from heaven is the 11th. Mercury is kind of like marketing and merchandising, but he also can rule things to do with gaming and speculation. So maybe you could have a lucky break financially that supports a calmer, less tension with your partner, and solve some kind of money crisis. Okay, in the couple of weeks that follows this new moon. Capricorn, sun, moon, and rising sign. Now, Cupido's moving through the house of you. I mean, he goes as slow as Pluto. I'm starting with that because he's right there in your house, right? You've already finishing a Pluto transit in 2024. This started in 2008. Pluto going, you know, death and rebirth to you over and over again. Shed your skin like a snake again and again. Who are you really again and again? That's been a long transit for you, Caps, right? Cupido's been here for about 2 or 3 years now because he moves very slowly and he retrogrades. And he's trying to get you in touch with your deepest passion. Okay, your creativity, your enthusiasm for life. Who's your real clan? Who do you belong to? Who are your people? These are Cupido questions in the house of you. And this lunation, he's loving it up with Ixion, the rule breaker. You need to break the rules. You need to bust outside, color outside those lines. And Aesclepius, you need to heal your body, mind, and soul, regenerate from ground up, resurrect yourself. That's what this is about for you, Capricorns. And it's touching down on a new moon in your 9th house. 9th house, legal matters, courts, academia, higher learning, foreign lands, and travel. Have you been wanting to travel or move to a foreign land, but there's been legal issues? Do you need to break some rules in order to make it work? Do you need to go back to school in order to find your truest passion? Because where this new moon is, it's going to align you more deeply with your dharma. One of the 9th house meanings is your dharmic house. What's your true purpose in life? It's also the house of the father in Vedic astrology. So you may have a new beginning with a patriarch in your family, a real father or father figure. Mars is objecting. I object your honor from your 6th house of karmic debts, and the 6th house of work and work routines and co-workers. Some kind of gnarly condition there. This could be needing surgery, but you don't want it. This could be complications from surgery, but you don't, you're going to find out about it, information about that. There's also Mars in Gemini could be news or information coming from your workspace that doesn't sit right with you and may feel difficult, especially given it squares this new beginning in your 9th. Like your boss said you could do a work from home in another country and they changed their mind or something like that. There is the potential here in your particular sky for this to look like some kind of debt issue where you owe money or money is owed to you. And there could be a repayment of it because there is Mercury trining this Mars, and Mercury in Libra is legalities. So, or your partner, business or love partner, trine to Mars in the house of debt. Do they owe you money? In the next weeks, 2 weeks after this lunation, you may receive a repayment for a debt that was owed to you. And that looks really positive for you. Or even in your workspace, money was owed to you, and now you're going to receive it at last. That promotion, that raise, or that back pay is finally coming through. But I also feel that with this tension from Mars in the 6th house of karmic debt, anyone that you're in a relationship with that we would call a deeply karmic relationship, Gemini is a twosome energy, right? You may have to cut away from, or they may cut away from you. I mean, the moon is the ruler of your marriage house. And for some of you Capricorns, that this is going to be the end of a relationship or marriage partnership, but you will see evidence of that direction likely in the 2 weeks after this lunation, and the fulfillment of that by next March, right? As a new moon, full moon is going to happen in Virgo once again. And don't forget, if it requires legal machinations to divide assets, the sun is a ruler of the shared resources. The moon is a ruler of your 7th house of marriage. Some of you are going through that. Like if you're a single Cap, ignore everything I said. All right. This is for those of you who are already in relationship. Moving on. I don't know how much of the noise you guys are hearing outside my house, but I have trucks and backup trucks, and it sounds like loading trucks out there when the window's open because it's hot. Aquarius, sun, moon, rising. Any chance you want to be your own astrologer, time your best life? I don't know if I pitched every sign, but I got you. Then sign up for my Sky Reader in October. You don't have to sign up for the courses, it's not open yet. Early bird discounts and getting in the class because you're on the wait list is what you should do. The link is below. You'll get notifications as soon as the cart opens. You'll get a discount code because you're early bird, and you'll get in the class because it will probably fill up before I even have to promote it outside of my news mailing list of 3,000 subscribers, right? 3,600 subscribers. Moving forward, for you, Aquarius, sun, moon, and rising sign, I am one of you. Yes, especially interesting placement for us. It's the house of taxes, the 8th house, the house of stock investments, the house of inheritance monies, the house of how you can leverage money with loans and stuff. I just got my tax notification this week to like give the government, half the money I'm going to owe them next year. It's a new system here, and I have no choice but to do that. So I'm like, oh, okay, fine. But rather giving the money to them next year, right? When I could have used the money for investment purposes. But anyway, I digress. This new moon in the house of tax issues, legal affairs to do with, shared resources, spousal money, investment money, all that, loan monies. It's giving you a new beginning, a new start in your money house, in your fiscal house, in your hygiene house with your money. And it's also magic, right? Deep magic, occult magic, and mysteries. I talk to dead people, new beginning there as well. But because we have trans Pluto, there's a kind of a deep regeneration. This isn't just any old new moon, right? Not just your average new moon in the house of, your money stuff. This is way deeper than that. This is a deeper regeneration around wealth and how you perceive, how you leverage money that you're not working for in a pay dollars for hours, second house manner. And so this is a regeneration that has support from Cupido and Ixion, the rule breaker, passion, Ixion, the rule breaker, transgressor, does it his own way, and Aesclepius, a great regenerative god of healing and resurrection, all in your 12th house. Now, one thing that can mean is that you're going to be able to get money from foreign lands and foreign shores through payment processors like Stripe and PayPal that are going to dramatically increase your wealth over the next few months, all the way through to next March. Okay, there's that. This is also a deeper energy, like your karma, your past life stuff, and really breaking free of that in a flowing positive way. Great time for a past life regression or a quantum healing hypnosis session, which I'm going to do. If you ever want to do quantum healing hypnosis and you're listening, just send me an email. My email's on my channel. I have the best guy, Shane Robinson, recommended him like 1,000 times over. Okay, so there you go. I'll pass you on to him. But I have to say, this is good soul work time because 8 and 12 are moksha houses to do with your soul, to do with spiritual liberation. And you may also be regenerating a deep spiritual awakening energy within your life and your chart and your sky, Aquariuses. Now, for some of you, with Mars in a gnarly tension aspect to the new beginning, there may be some oppositional energy from your lover, your children, or your muse, inspiration and creativity are somehow at odds at first with this idea of financial regeneration. Your 5th house is money luck, like playing the lottery, and Mars is down there and he's like, yeah, you won the lottery, but you didn't qualify to collect it because your ticket was ripped in two or something. I hope not anyway, but just some tension in that area of the sky. And it definitely could just be your children are going through a lot of difficulty and it's taking away from this feeling of new renewal and rebirth, or one of your children isn't really giving you a hard time about something. Okay, those are possibilities. This long Mars transit through the 5th house will separate you from some of your children. You may move away, they may move away, or this may also be a sign for some of you of a longer term love relationship, very passionate one at that, disconnected verbally back and forth. A lot of talk goes on here, maybe a lot of phone calls and emails. Okay, so this Mars energy in the 5th house also can look like some kind of male figure, some kind of masculine person kind of raining on a money parade, and you're having to deal with that, in the 2 weeks that follow your lunation. Just a possibility, right? Leisure trips and travel is 5th house. Mars likes to travel. Maybe you had wanted to take a leisure trip and you're not going to be able to do it in the first couple of weeks in September because of financial issues you have to attend to. Those are like micro stories in the sky. Big news here, though, is that Mercury is trining trining, loving up, flowing harmoniously, full of luck and opportunity. Energies toward Mars in the 5th, leisure, travel, play, fun, pleasure, and sexuality, inspiration, and the muse. And this is all loving up the 9th house of book publishing, foreign lands, and foreign travel. Legal courts and visas. Now, this like simply, some of you are going to plan a trip in the first 2 weeks of September to a foreign land. Some of you are going to submit your book to an agent. Some of you are going to get your book idea all plotted out. And one day it will lead by March to an agent. Some of you are going to submit your visa applications and have them received in the first 2 weeks of September that lead to you're going to another country to live sometime after next March. These are the ways that it can work out. You apply to a university for something you're passionate about, and you get all your applications in the first 2 weeks of September, and you get your acceptances in the spring of 23. Things are like that are flowing in your sky. If you have any legal issues you need to resolve, Mercury in Libra is helping you resolve them in your favor in a positive way. That feels very fortunate and lucky in the first 2 weeks of September. So I think I covered that. I don't think I went extra long for you guys because I'm an Aquarius rising. People say I spend too much time on the Aries, my Aries sun and moon, and Aquarius rising. So I think I was fair here. And last but not least, it was moving forward at last to our favorite, watery fish people. My sister Cindy is a Pisces rising, my youngest tarot reader sister. So if you want to take your astrology course, Sky Reader with me, you guys, you Pisces and Fishies, so you can be your own astrologer and time your best life, well, come on, jump aboard starting in October. Doors are not open yet, but early bird discounts and getting into the class at all because I will cap the number of students. But being on the early bird list, you get first notice. And that is important because I will not have a space for 1,000 people. So check it out and see if you want to join. The description box below this video will have a link to the class, and I guess I'll pin it to the comments as well. Okay, so going forward, this is a yearly event, a new moon in your 7th house. You get to regenerate in a Virgo space, a new beginning with your business partner or marriage partner. Okay, every year around this time. So you're going to try to start up something fresh and new, but you're not going to do it at the surface level because Trans Pluto is here. And that partner of yours even may be wanting to go really deep, like really deep, and really generate a new kind of relationship, a new kind of connection with your business partner or your marriage partner. Or if you're throwing things into your marketplace, like audience, clients, and marketplace, this is a new beginning, and how you present your products, your services, or your stuff in a deeply authentic way that serves the collective Trans Pluto into the world. Okay. And you got a lot of love from Cupido, with passion and ardor. And Cupido also is connected to the rule-breaking transgressor Ixion and to Aesclepius, the great resurrection and healer. And it's the house of your oldest sibling. So you may be getting a lot of support for your marriage, your business partnerships, or your audience marketplace, other from a sibling or from somebody in your older friends and family. Sorry, in your larger friends and family, your larger social networks of friends who wish to help you. Oh God, I'm sorry, I can speak English. And this is a very luscious flowing energy. And on next March, you'll see the full fruiting of this new beginning in that area of your 7th house. Also, you have Mars in a square to the new moon, and therefore there's tension from your 4th house. This could be about a move that you want to make, but it's forestalled. This could be about renovations you want to do in the house, but you can't get them going. This could be conflict with your marriage partner or about something going on in your home. This is what's happening. Be careful for your partner that they don't injure themselves in the home in the 2 weeks that follow this new moon, burn themselves, cut themselves, break a leg, whatever. Now, you could also find that your partner with Mars in your 4th house until next March, if they're not cutting the whole house up and renovating it, or you guys aren't doing that together, I'm working on a project in the home together, you're going to have a lot of arguing in the home together. There's no doubt about it. And you may find that conflict in the domestic environment is going to unfortunately be a bit of a story over the next 7 months. And this moon is giving you maybe a first taste of it. But on a positive note, Mercury in your 8th house is in a flowing trine to Mars in your 4th. And this is positive money and house stuff, getting the perfect mortgage, selling the house, getting the perfect lease, being able to secure finance you need to make the renovations to a property, signing a deed, getting an inheritance, changing the inheritance property, signing a deed for sure is what 8-4 could look like here. Because Mars is the ruler of your 9th house of legal matters and court papers. So you may be bequeathed something, you may sign a deed for a property, you may get the most exquisite mortgage possible. Watch to what happens in the couple of weeks that follow the August 27th new moon, and pay attention, of course, to the days around August 27th itself for clues to how this positive money flow is happening. And if you have a stock investment that was languishing, Mercury here can help it take off in a way that allows you to fortify your home life and change something about your home. So that's about that. Anything else I want to tell you? Nope, that's about it. So thank you for listening. Don't forget, if you're new to my channel, if you like and subscribe and hit the bell for notifications, you'll get more information about when I post. I post about 20 videos a month on average, because I'm now doing all signs for each month. And so it's like you'll get a lot of content, and I hope you really enjoy my channel. I hope you guys stick around, and I'm really growing quickly. I'm so excited. I'm getting like 1,700 new subscribers a month. That's a new high for me. So thank you all if you're listening to me now, because we're in the premier live chat. Again, thank you for being here. All of you guys are so important to me because I'm getting to know you. I really love that I have the same people showing up in my lives every time the live premieres, and we're chatting in the chat box. Okay, thanks all. I will see you next time. Have a great new moon in Virgo at 4 degrees. Ciao, ciao. Oh, ciao, ciao. All right, bye all. Bye.